if you're just joining, I don't know how many people are coming in and out of here, but if you're just joining, then we're playing HeptaCraft. I'm not playing HeptaCraft. I'm live casting a HeptaCraft tournament. I'm not entirely sure what the reward is. I think it was originally $40. I don't know if it's more or less than that now. But think of all the things you can do with that $40. And I'm not even being sarcastic. All right? $40 is nothing to joke about. That's lunch for a week. All right? Probably more than that. It depends on how much you spend at lunch, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Anyway, the game is starting, so that's enough about lunch. Maybe not. I spend maybe between $6 and $10 a day on lunch, sometimes $1 or $2 more, depending on where I go. So let's see. On a work day, I'm spending between $30 and $40 a week on lunch. I would say that if I participated in this tournament, I would try very hard to win, though I probably would have lost to a bunch of Zerglings made by Claire. All right, Nerazim v Infested. This is a cool matchup that we've not seen before. Who's playing who? Solo is playing Infested, and we have Schneider playing as Nerazim. We saw Schneider play as Nerazim and absolutely smash Summerloud, and it was so embarrassing. What an embarrassment Summerloud was. I am so embarrassed. I hope he's not listening in the chat, because if he is, I would just be so embarrassed if I was him. Oh, man. The creator of the mod losing to a Dark Templar drop. Oh, everybody's laughing at him right now. It's hilarious. All right. I'm sorry. That was a joke. I shouldn't even have to say that. So, yes, Infested v Nerazim is pretty cool. So I feel like Schneider having some very, very powerful plays with Nerazim. Granted, he did lose as Nerazim against Claire. Claire very, very strong against everybody so far, though, with those Zergling run-bys. So I'm interested to see how Schneider will fare against Infested, because keep in mind, both of these players do have a shot at the finals if they can make it through the loser's bracket. So Infested has a lot of options, and I feel like their late-game options, I realize now, really revolve around getting spawned big units that spawn stuff. So you got your little ground carriers with the brood host. So you have like a brood host, brood lord combination. And I suppose maybe their anti-air is where I need to kind of review what they can, honest to God, do, because I have no idea. The drop pods, though, the fact that you can lay those down anywhere you have vision is very powerful. Very, very powerful. It does cost all the energy on your brood hive, though. I don't want to say that keeps it balanced, because I'm not an expert on that, but the fact that it is all of your energy implies that you haven't been spawning any banelings, so that seems like it makes a bit of a difference. Okay, so we have a Roach Warren coming out from Solo, and I believe, yes, so Solo is the one that we saw playing Calavi, and he played Infested then as well. So we know Solo is pretty experienced with Infested, and we know Schneider is pretty infested with Nerazim, so I am intrigued to see these players go up against each other. We have a Dark Council coming up. Just a neat little lore tidbit, how it's not the Twilight Council because you're Nerazim, it's just the straight-up Dark Council. Cybercore, I like how it's also just Cybercore. Not Cybernetics Core, it's just Cybercore. And here's that Warp Pylons. And it's interesting because Warp Pylons, it's a very cheap and very fast upgrade, and I pointed this out every game we've seen Nerazim, but it just seems like such a good addition to make sure that your Nerazim Protoss, which have such good harassment units, can't proxy very easily. They do have to invest some extra cash if they want to proxy, because their units are particularly good when proxied. So that's very, very neat to me. Not to mention, you have other races that can't really proxy, considering the Broodmothers would take them like a billion years to walk across the map and poop out more units. We did see Summerloud in the past, who played Infested, make a Changeling run up a ramp and then spawn Nidostorms at the top of the ramp. That was awesome. All right, we have some Fanatics running by. I remember the name without even having to click on it. We had a Fanatic trying to run by, running away from these Roaches. And again, these Roaches are very, very weak. He probably only needs a couple Fanatics to push through those. But we do have Solo, who took his expansion, whereas Schneider's still on one base. What can we get at the Dark Council? There's the Shadow Charge, but you can only get it with Charge. And then Multi-Blink, that's pretty cool, but you can only... So you have to get the prerequisite upgrades before you get those. And they also cost Terrazine. Shadow Charge is quite good, and it has a shorter cooldown and further increases movement speed. That's pretty cool. Okay, so it doesn't allow them to move through units. That's what it was in the campaign. Yes, no, briefly cloaks a Fanatic, and so it can cloak and charge through. It charges faster, it moves faster, and is on a shorter cooldown. That's actually quite nice. But again, you get those Terrazine upgrades. You have to be very judicious with how you spend that Terrazine. We have a level 2 Broodmother already out. I'm not entirely sure what all the tech restrictions are on the different levels, but I suppose we'll find out We'll see if we'll get another Soaring Roost. We had Solo go heavy Infested air last time with those Corruptors, and I don't know how the Nerazim really fare against them. I believe the Nerazim can make Phoenix. It's interesting because the Kala Protoss can make Corsairs. Is that right? But the Nerazim can make Phoenix. They were flipped, mostly because Phoenix are more hit-and-run type units, whereas the Corsairs, even though in the past they lore-wise are Dark Templar, they're better fit with the Kala. So in this mod, I should say. I don't know. Summerlord made these decisions, and I believe that was the reasons that he gave. I personally have no... I don't care either way. So these roaches just waiting for these Warp Prisms to drop. And there's the Dark Templar! The Dark Templar drops. And if you're facing Nerazim, and I believe that Solo knew he was facing Nerazim, you have to get that fast detection. These Guardian Worms trying to come out. The Guardian Worms can detect. Can it be attacked when it's coming out of the ground? It must not be able to, but this Guardian Worm will provide some detection. We have more roaches coming up. And wow, those Dark Templar and Devotees. There's the Guardian Worm, but we do have this Annihilator that's going to take it out quick. It can detect the Dark Templar, but it already goes down. He does have 2 out, though, so he can detect a brutal battle happening right here. And even though that Solo could briefly see those Dark Templar, Schneider just has too many units. Wow! Oh! And Schneider pushing back heavily with the roaches, and you can just make as many units as you want from those Broodmothers. May be able to push this back, and he did kill the Dark Templar. I did not think he got those. Wow, that changes this entirely. A ton of roaches coming out right now. Infested, Solo playing Infested, playing really scrappy, able to hang on there against that Dark Templar push that we've seen Schneider execute so well in the previous game as well. Another Dark Templar going to have to run away to a Guardian Worm. He doesn't have a Guardian Worm. Oh, he's got to spawn one somewhere. He's got to spawn one somewhere, and the issue is as many Dark Templar... I mean, Dark Templar can keep getting spawned from here. Oh, geez, we have some Immortal micro drops going on here between the Warp Prisms. And Schneider, again, really, really well execution. Solo doing great, holding on. The issue is just these Dark Templar. We have another Guardian Worm coming out, and I suppose, yeah, these cannot be attacked. Can he burrow with these Broodmothers? He can't. I swear I've seen a Broodmother burrow in the past. I don't know if that's a separate upgrade. I don't know. So... got those Guardian Worms coming up. He just needs as many of those as he can. Solo just running dry on money. He's on 2 bases, so that's the thing. He's able to play scrappy and hang on, and you can attack these Guardian Worms while they're coming out of the ground, using that Annihilator cannon on everything that he can. Lots of roaches coming out, and Solo is trying so hard. He's transferring all of his feederlings. He does have a Guardian Worm down here in case Schneider wants to transition. And Solo trying to run these roaches down, and these Broodmothers again cannot attack. And there we go. Now we've got these guys coming in range. But that, you know, if the Annihilator cannon or whatever it's called, the Shadow cannon comes up, then he'll be able to nuke down that Guardian Worm very, very, very fast. And oh, the Guardian Worm's gonna go down again, and he needs more. As many Guardian Worms as you can push out. Solo is all I can imagine he can do right now, because there's no detection. Again, the only detection is that static defense, and Solo leaving the game. Just getting frustrated with those Dark Templar. Dark Templar are very, very frustrating, especially when you have no form of mobile detection. All you do is you can sprout out those worms, and they die to like a Shadow Cannon barrage, and that's it. So tricky, tricky game, and once again, Schneider showing very, very handy with those Nerazim, understanding the weaknesses of his opponents to specific detection.